The right drill bit can make or break a woodworking project. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 drill bits that every woodworker should have in their shop, what you use them for, and one that every woodworker should avoid most of the time. Let's go. First on the list are multi-use twist bits or angle bits. A lot of different names for them, but they come in packages like this. Or a lot of us still have these metal boxes around that I know my dad and grandpa both had sets of these. They must have sold them really cheap at Sears and Roebuck or wherever they bought them at, but a lot of us have these metal boxes like this. These type drill bits have their place in woodworking on some level. We use them for a multitude of reasons. A lot of mine uses are for pilot holes so that I can just drill a quick pilot hole at the end of a board to prevent that splitting if you're driving screws in there. Now the ends of these bits are just angled, and so when you try to drill a hole or pinpoint a specific spot, sometimes these bits have a tendency to walk around. It's always good to use a center punch or a spring-loaded punch like I have here to set the mark where you want to start the drill. That'll help that bit stay in that spot while you drill. You can see here when I use the center punch, it come out almost perfectly in the center of those two lines, whereas when I use the non-center punch, it had a tendency to walk around a little bit, and then I was able to drill the hole, but it is off the mark. These do have a tendency to tear out a little bit on the backside, especially on the bigger size bits. That's one of the drawbacks of those angle bits like that, but again, they do have their place in the woodworking shop, and everybody should have a set. I recommend this DeWalt set. You get all the way from 1/16 all the way up to 1/2 inch. And you also get 3 extras of some of those smaller sizes because those tend to break when you hold the drill wrong, drilling pilot holes, things like that. So that's a nice add-on, especially in this nice little case that keeps them organized, so long as you put them back. Next on the list are brad point bits. These are some essential bits in the shop. They have a couple of unique features that no other bit has. I picked up this set of Owl Tools brad point drill bit set. It's a 12-pack. It's a really good value for all the size bits you get. Brad point bits have 2 unique features. One is the point, the brad point, kind of like a brad nail, right? What that allows you to do is pinpoint with accuracy, hitting the exact spot where you want to drill, and that bit actually, or the point actually sticks in there. And when you drill that hole, you don't have to worry about it walking on you like the angle point bits do. You'll also notice on the brad point bit, the shoulders here behind the tip slope back toward that tip slightly. And what that allows it to do is actually cut the wood as it's going through. It's also going to drill a smoother hole on the inside versus the angle point bit. Let me drill a hole with both and I'll show you. Brad point bits are excellent for drilling a specific spot or just drilling like a small hole so you can put a dowel in, a cap over a screw head, something like that. Just a really good option to have in the shop. If you're interested in any of the drill bits I show today, there'll be links in the description below to each one. Third on the list is by far my favorite drill bit to use in the shop, and those are Forstner bits. A Forstner bit is basically a round or a bigger round bit than your standard bits. They have the brad point bit on there. They also have almost kind of like blades in the center that actually cut the wood, and you'll see the shavings actually coming off of the wood as you drill, giving you a clean edge as well as a flat bottom. Way back in 2017 when I built my dog kennel, I was looking for a drill bit that I could drill clean holes for those bars to sit in. That's when I discovered Forstner bits. I knew that I needed those, so I ordered one the right size for the rebar to go in. And from then I was hooked. I went on to use them in my stove covers where I drilled 2 holes and then connected them with a jigsaw to create a handle. You can also use Forstner bits to drill angled holes where it's very hard to do that with other type bits. And you can also drill at the edge of boards as well as connecting them together to make oblong holes or to just to hog out material for your mortises. I have this nice set of Irwin Forstner bits that I bought about $50-ish or so. It's a pretty good set. I do see that they start to dull after several uses, especially if they start heating up. But they are a very good option for beginners or those on a budget. I've recently invested in a set of Fish Wave Forstner bits. Now these are very expensive compared to the Irwin bits, but you're getting what you paid for, in my opinion. Now, these Fish Wave bits, on the outer rim of them, you'll see this kind of a wavy serrated design. That really makes a very smooth cut, where you'll see the Irwin brand has the kind of a sawtooth design, which more tears through the wood. It's still cutting it, but it's cutting it kind of like a saw blade, where the Fish Wave bits are almost slicing the wood fibers. What that wavy design does is create less friction, and less friction is going to create less heat buildup. And heat is the enemy of sharp blades. The lower the temperature you can keep your bits and blades, the longer they're gonna stay sharp and the longer they're gonna last you. Fish bits can also be resharpened up to 30 times, so that's kind of a long life bit for you. That's one of the reasons I love these fish bits. When you're using Forstner bits or any larger bit, the lower speed actually helps the bit out. The higher the speed, you're gonna create more heat and just create more work for the bit. So just remember, the larger the bit, the lower the speed, on drill presses especially. On the fish side, you see that this is very smooth all the way around. On the inside, there's a tiny bit of fraying right there, nothing major. A little bit of sandpaper, that's gone. This side, there is a little bit of tear out all the way around the edge or in a couple of different places on the edge, and the inside is quite a bit rougher than on the fish side. So these, because of the design of this sawtooth design, it's cutting a little bit rougher, and the bottom is also rougher. So these fish bits cut much smoother than other types. One of the best ways to prevent tear out with a Forstner bit is to drill until the point of that bit goes through the other side, and then drill in from the other side like this. Tip just comes through, switch sides. There you go. I'll say this, I've been woodworking for a long time, and I've used several different bits. If you have the budget, get the wave bits. They'll last you likely a lifetime or very close to it. If you're on a budget, get this Irwin set. These are really great bits for what you're getting for the price. I'll also say Freud bits have the wavy edge, and they're very good as well. Forstner bits and drill presses work beautifully together. They're almost made for each other, like Oreos and milk, peas and carrots, woodworkers and sawdust. They work together well. If you have a drill press, you want a good set of Forstner bits. This is a wind drill press. I've got a review on the channel way back a few years ago. This has served me well for a budget beginner drill press. I really recommend this one. Who likes peas and carrots anyway? Number 4 on the list are the Wood Owl Overdrive bits. Now these are very unique in a couple of different ways. They're basically a brad point bit, but they have these extremely long flutes on there to clear away that material much faster. Wood Owl claims that these will give you 35% more battery life using these bits versus other bits, because these were specifically designed for cordless drill. These are made from high carbon steel, and they will actually work in an impact driver. They have this standard 1/4 inch driver bit on one end, so you can use them in a drill or impact, which is very cool. The unique design of these has almost like the brad point and similar to a Forstner bit on the edges here, where it's actually cutting that wood instead of basically tearing it. What's impressive about these Wood Owl Overdrive bits is they actually do what they say. There's minimal tear out. Now you'll get some here and there, but nothing like you do with a Forstner bit, a regular drill bit, or brad point bits or anything like that. So if you want to get higher chances on a cleaner hole, if you have to go all the way through, the Wood Owl Overdrive bits are the way to go. You play around with the drill settings and the type of material you're drilling into, you'll get much better results once you figure out, does it work better on slower speeds or higher speeds depending on the bit size and material you're using. I've tested these against Forstner bits, I've tested these against regular drill bits, and these outperform both of those if you're drilling a through hole. I really like these Wood Owl bits. Number 5 on the list, and don't forget to stick around for the one you should avoid. Number 5 are Countersink bits, and I'm going to throw self-centering drill bits in this mix because they're both not the same, but in the same group, I think. Anyway, what do you think? Self-centering drill bits are made for centering in a hole, especially for hinges. If you try to take a drill bit and hit the exact center of the hole on a hinge, you're likely going to be off one way or the other, and that's going to throw your cabinets off when the screw pulls the hinge wrong. So these self-centering drill bits will center that hole perfectly, and then you can drive your screw home without worrying about it. Now, Countersink bits are essential for woodworking. There's tons of different reasons why you want the head of that screw below the surface, and there's a couple of different styles. I picked up this Wood Owl set of Countersink bits. I also picked up this Irwin set of Countersink bits, and what these are for is if there's already a hole there, or you've drilled a hole and now you need to countersink that screw head. These are great for that, and these will work on metal as well, so a double purpose on these. Now the way the Countersink bits work are they have the drill bit that drills the pilot hole, but they also have this extra bit up here that actually cuts basically a beveled edge around where the screw head can set in. There's also another Countersink bit that has a stop on it that prevents you from plunging too far so that all of your Countersink holes are very uniform. These work extremely well, except some versions or some models will mar the wood, so you have to kind of be careful about the ones you buy. I would steer clear of the very, very cheap ones and spend a little money and protect your project. A bonus drill bit that I think every woodworker should have in the shop are hole saw kits or a hole saw. You don't need them a lot, but sometimes you need those big holes drilled, specifically like when I was making my cornhole boards. I needed to have a big 6-inch hole there, so I went and ordered a 6-inch bit. Well, over time, I've noticed that here or there, I needed to drill a hole that was bigger than my Forstner bit. So I went ahead and picked up a set of Milwaukee hole saw. These aren't specifically needed by woodworkers, but they are extremely handy to have when you need them. So do you need them? Now, one bit that's quite popular that I think most woodworkers doing woodworking should avoid in most cases are spade bits. Spade bits are specifically made for the construction industry where they're drilling holes through studs and things to run piping and wires, things like that. They drill a pretty nasty, messy hole most of the time, but that's what they're for. They're for speed, to auger out that material quickly so that they can run those wires and pipes fast. There are uses here and there for them in the wood shop, but for fine woodworking or if you're building projects that you want that hole to look nice and clean, you should really use the Forstner bit and not the spade bit. So did I miss any bits that every woodworker should have? Comment below, let me know. If you like this video, you'll love the parallel clamp test that I did a few weeks ago. Click that box, click in the box, get you a big old virtual fist pump. Tell you whether it's really worth the Harbor Freight brand or the higher end brands. Also, another one of my favorite videos right there. Go check them out.